Thanks to our sponsor donedeal.ie, we bring you Business Bites, the best bits of That Great Business Show, served up in individual servings.
Dunedeal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Dunedeal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit donedeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
From episode 132, Tony Sheridan, CEO of the Connecticut Chambers of Commerce, wants you to set up your American HQ at his new industry exhibition centre, and he's making it very, very attractive. Now, if you don't know already, because I say it often enough here, Connecticut is the state in the US above New York and below Boston. It is also described as the closest parish to Ireland in the US, and therefore it is an ideal location to base your business in the States. Now, further great news, after a 3-year break, Aer Lingus has reintroduced daily flights to Connecticut, meaning you can drive to either New York or Boston in little over 2 hours. In the Connecticut seaside town of New London, Meath man and long-time US immigrant Tony Sheridan will soon open a business exhibition centre and a co-working space, and he wants you to go there. He wants Irish businesses to use this new facility to show off their goods and services for the US market. Oh, and he's offering an incredible deal if you do choose to locate there. In fact, Tony, who is president and CEO of Connecticut East Chambers of Commerce, is so keen to help Irish businesses that he's just flown all the way here to join us on That Great Business Show. Tony Sheridan, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me, Colin.
Well, why would we not have a Meath man? You're only in the States 60-odd years, and yet, first of all, people are going to laugh because you still got the accent from Meath. But secondly, you break your heart trying to help Irish businesses over there. And this is your latest wheeze, but it's a big wheeze. It's a $3 million wheeze. Tell the world, tell the listeners, what are you doing?
Well, thank you. And yes, happy to do so. It's great to be back in Ireland. My wife and I and our kids have been coming here just about every year since I emigrated. Yeah, I was born and brought up in Oldcastle, and then decided at age 19 that I was going to look for something different, and emigrated to the United States, to a city called New London. It's called after, obviously, London, and it's on the Thames River, not the Thames River.
I only learned that today. I laughed. I said, I would have called it the Thames River, but there you go. It's the Thames. And it's on the seashore as well.
It's on the Atlantic Ocean. We can actually see Long Island from our location. It's a fabulous spot, shoreline up and down the Connecticut coast. And I've been at the Chamber now for 18 years, working there as president, as you said, president and CEO. And one of our most recent enterprises is to create a innovation co-working space for companies who want to start a business or move to Connecticut from Ireland or elsewhere, and have a soft landing pad to get their business started.
Now, I threw out that little one earlier on, that it's a peppercorn rent. If a business, and there are many, many, many businesses that we have on this show who are going to obviously go to the massive US market, if they want to go there, what are you going to do for them? What can you do for them?
Well, I can do a lot. We have a great governor who's very eager to revitalize our inner cities. And so he has put some money to various organizations to really create an atmosphere for businesses to progress and to be created in the inner cities.
This is Governor Ned Lamont, isn't that
Ned Lamont, and he's been a wonderful governor, and he has really put his money where his mouth is. He always talked about the need to revitalize our inner cities, and indeed that's what he's doing. So he made a $1.386 million commitment to the Chamber to build a co-working location in the heart of New London. We're actually 1,200 yards from our transportation hub, the railroad station. Boston is 100 miles away, 2.5 hours. New York is another 100 miles away, 2.5 hours. Hartford is 50 miles away. So it's centrally located. And we overlook the State of Connecticut port, the port that's going to be the launching pad for all of the offshore wind energy production that's just starting right now.
It's going to be massive. Wind energy in the States is literally only starting.
That's correct.
So give me the pitch to an Irish startup, early stage company that needs a location in the States. Connecticut, where you've just said, is beautifully located. But what about the dollars? I was going to say the pounds, shillings and pence. Right. We're both old enough to remember those. But in the dollars, what can you do for them?
Well, because we got this grant, the rent is going to be subsidized. It's going to be a very modern building. It's going to have 5G service and all of the amenities, administrative services, and you can have as little as a hot seat to work off, a daily rate of $25, or you can have an office large enough to have 3 desks in it, and that runs for about $1,000 a month. So,
but if they say Tony Sheridan, they get a special deal, don't they?
They do. They do, because I've spent 10 years as the mayor of Waterford, Connecticut, and obviously being engaged in the government that long, I learned a lot. I know where all the pitfalls are, and if somebody were to come over and they wanted some guidance as to how to register their company, I can certainly see that it gets done. I have all the contacts in Hartford, which is our capital city, and really will hold their hand while they get started.
Now, you obviously are a Connecticut, I won't say person, but you have been based there for the majority of your life. Do you really still understand that nobody in Ireland actually knows where Connecticut is?
Well, that's a problem. And I think it is, as you said, it's really the next parish over. And I think that, quite frankly, first of all, it's a beautiful state.
Absolutely beautiful. It's picture postcard stuff. It's the picket fence stuff. It's beautiful little laneway stuff. It's gorgeous.
Correct. And as is Ireland. And pairing the two states in a business sense, I think it's a natural. I think it's a great idea. It's an idea that will grow. It is growing already. And we have, in addition to having the offshore wind hub of the offshore wind, we have Pfizer there on the river. We build our submarines there. We have Electric General Dynamics. We have 2 of the largest Native American casinos in the country. And they're just not casinos; they're entertainment centers.
So you told me that you saw Frank Sinatra there.
Well, that was a while ago.
Poor old Frankie's gone a long time ago.
And he wasn't very good, but he should have retired a little earlier. But, he's an icon.
What kind of businesses would you like to see? Because Connecticut has a really interesting business past, and it kind of went into decline for a couple of decades, but is now trying to drive itself up again. You also have Stanley Black & Decker there, correct?
Correct.
And what are the big names like that people, because Stanley Black & Decker have an accelerator, I think, don't they?
Correct.
There's a lot. There are so many huge, interesting businesses that are trying to develop other sidelines or help other businesses. I find the whole thing very, very interesting.
Well, yeah, and in a sense, COVID was as tragic as it was. It was it provided a new beginning for a lot of both policymakers as well as business people. And so, and then, of course, the development of technology, Zooming, and, there's so many platforms now, you don't have to really travel as much. So there was the beginning of a new beginnings for the state. So, as I mentioned, the governor is very eager to revitalize our cities and doing a great job of it. And I think that these companies that were there or had their roots there are now actually coming back to Connecticut. And one of the other important things that's not often understood is the quality of education. Connecticut has the highest level of education of any of the New England states, and quite frankly, that's what companies want.
It's also the home of Yale.
Home of Yale, home of Connecticut College, home of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy. We're in the process of building a $100 million Coast Guard museum, which there's none in the country. It's been built right there in New London. In fact, I'll be able to touch it practically from our building.
And I think I understand from you that you want to also, people who are manufacturing in Ireland, to bring their product to your centre so that they can use that as their showcase. So if anybody wants to see the product, come around, see it there, correct?
Correct. We will have... We're going to be the go-to. We want to be the go-to place to launch your business. We will have all of the amenities that you will need. We'll have the professional services that we have 12 staff members who will be literally holding hands, making sure people get off to a good start. And quite frankly, the whole thing is very exciting. It's a new era, and having Ireland have a presence there, I think, is going to be terrific.
And you also, because of course you're not busy enough, you wear another hat, which is are you the chair of all the airports in the state?
Yes.
So you have to eulogise about Bradley opening. That's the new service from Dublin to Bradley, Connecticut.
Yes. Connecticut has 6 airports, Bradley being our crown jewel, the biggest airport. And we've just completed a project, a $300 million project to upgrade the airport. We got selected as 3rd in the country as the easiest and most comfortable airport of our size. And quite frankly, we're going to spend more money on it. We want Bradley to be the go-to airport for all of not just Connecticut, but Massachusetts. You know, traffic is a problem everywhere. To hop in a car and drive 100 miles on Route 95 to get into Kennedy or Boston, Logan, it's just very difficult. And we don't want to do it anymore. People want convenience. They want to be safe, and they want an easy in and out. And so I was appointed about five years ago by then Governor Malloy to be the chair of the board of the Bradley International of the Connecticut Airport Authority, and it's been a great experience. I still don't know how to fly a plane. I don't want to.
I was going to say maybe we're better off not knowing.
So, but it was it was a huge learning curve, and I loved it.
And it is great that Aer Lingus is now going to do daily flights? Daily flights. 5 hours more or less coast to coast, am I right?
Well, it was actually 4 hours and 45 minutes coming over.
Wow.
I had to wake my brother up at 4 a.m. to get me to pick me up at the airport. He wasn't very happy about that. But on the way back, it's about 6.5, 7 hours because of the headwinds.
Okay.
But it's still a very comfortable ride, and the people at Aer Lingus do a marvellous job. So
for those businesses, and there are, we have them in here on the podcast every week, who will be setting up in their location in Connecticut, it's just made for them.
Perfect.
And what they need to do is to talk to Tony Sheridan. Isn't that correct? You'll take their email, you'll take their phone call.
Absolutely.
Tony Sheridan phones me on Saturday afternoons to tell me about great things about Connecticut. So he'll talk to anybody at any time, including his brother at 4:45 a.m.
That's correct. And he may not be happy about it, but that's...
But you, and we will put it up onto the website, we'll put up your email address. Is that okay?
That's perfect.
Now, you know that there's one final thing that you have to answer on this podcast. Sure. Who would Tony Sheridan hire in a heartbeat? You have to give me a name of a person that you...
Conal O'Moran.
No, do you know what? You're the first person to have mentioned that. You're smart. I like you.
Well, you're a great promoter. So
promoter of myself, maybe.
Well, you have to start there.
Well, do you know what? I'm not even going to ask you for a second there. I'm going to stick with that and take my chances. It's a bit like winning at one of your casinos. We just call it quits and say, I'm ahead. Tony Sheridan, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Thank you, Conal. It's a pleasure being here.
Want to increase sales, reduce overheads, and provide customers with a better service? Then use Big Red Web, the easiest way to develop and maintain your website. It gives you powerful business reporting, digital marketing, and automatically integrates with the award-winning Big Red cloud accounting software. It's a game changer for SME businesses. It's so good, the government gives you a €2,500 grant towards it. Big Red Web, e-commerce made simple. BigRedCloud.com/web.
De facto shaving oil, made only from natural oils. Nothing nasty on your skin.
This interview was first posted on episode 132 of That Great Business Show, essential listening for anyone with plans to bring their business stateside. For more great insights, listen back to our entire back catalogue of That Great Business Show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.